All right, let's bring into the conversation White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield. Kate, it's great to have you back on the show. We want to talk a little bit about what's happening at the polls in terms of safety and what else can be done. But first, tell us where the president is headed in the final 6 days and what the message will be.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. So, the president's going to be out in New Mexico this week. He'll be out in California, Illinois, and then in Maryland. What the message is going to be, you heard from him loud and clear last night. He was in Florida. Is this election is a choice. It's a choice between the progress that we've made on behalf of working families across this country in terms of forgiving student debt, in terms of lowering prescription drug costs, in terms of lowering energy bills. And the vision that's being put forward by the Republicans, which is to repeal all the progress we've made, allow the cap on seniors' expenses for drugs to go back up, to allow energy bills to go back up, and all of this in service of the special interests. So it's a very clear choice. The president laid it out last night, and he said, you know, the Republicans have been really clear. Not only do they want to do all of this, they are willing to hold the economy hostage. They're willing to hold the government hostage if he will not accept cuts to Social Security and Medicare. They've said it loud and clear. So the president's going to continue to lay out that choice because there is a really important one facing the American people in the coming days.
I mean, what the Republicans have said about Social Security and Medicare over the past 6 months, really, it just defies logic. It's got to scare the hell out of a lot of senior citizens. Kate, speaking of scared, a lot of Americans are concerned about crime. You do have some progressive politicians and talkers who try to downplay it, suggest that there's a racist element if people bring up crime as an issue. A new Pew poll says that over 8 in 10 black Democrats consider crime to be a major issue as they go to the voting booths this year. What can you tell us about the president's plan? What's his message, his closing message on crime? Americans don't feel safe. What's the president say?
That he's continuing to work to attack it across the country. I mean, he has taken steps. He's passed the most significant gun safety bill in the last 30 years, which is an important piece, we know, of bringing crime down, is to limit access to guns like that. He's been very clear that if he is given additional Democrats in the House and Senate, and I obviously have to be careful from where I'm standing here in how I talk about the elections, but he's been very clear if he gets additional Democrats in the House and Senate, he's going to fight for an assault weapons ban. He's also been clear from the outset. I mean, you all remember this very clearly from the campaign in 2020, that he believes the answer is not to defund the police, but to give the police the resources that they need to police well. And of course, that means accountability, but it means making sure that police officers don't also have to be social workers and don't also have to be counselors, and that they have the resources they need when they are called into to a situation. So he's been very, very clear. The answer is not defund the police. It's fund the police. And I would note again, Republicans voted against police funding when they voted against the American Rescue Plan, the first big piece of legislation the president got passed when he took office. That included funding that went to communities to support police, and Republicans voted against that. So again, if folks are looking at who's going to be tough on crime, but who's going to provide the resources needed to make neighborhoods safer, President Biden has done that, and there's a clear contrast with the Republicans.
Kate, talk about how the president has gone out of his way to make sure there's a balanced and effective approach to deal with crime, because he's had any numbers of meetings with civil rights leaders, with advocates on both sides, and been firm. We've got to bring down crime together, but that I'm also going to deal with the reforms you want. He's the only president that signed an executive order on policing when we didn't get the George Floyd Act, but at the same time saying you guys have got to deal with guns and you guys have got to deal with crime. I don't think people understand how much effort he's put in to making sure that everybody's on the same page and had the input.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And he knows and believes it's important to hear from everybody and to hear those perspectives. And they're reflected in, as you said, the executive order on policing that he signed and his focus on community violence intervention programs. So, you know, we know that those kinds of programs can help reduce crime. The answer is not policing alone. Policing is an important piece of it. But as you say, Rev, it's got to be balanced. And he wants to hear input from all groups to make sure that we're doing this in a way that serves the communities and serves people around the country who are grappling with the issue.
White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
I want to pick up our